Hey everyone, welcome back to our Java Basics series. In today's lesson, we're going to explore a powerful tool in Java, Scanner. So what exactly is Scanner? Think of it as a way to gather information. Just like you ask someone a question to get an answer, in programming, you use Scanner to ask the user for input. This allows your program to interact with the user by accepting values during runtime. With Scanner, you can read different types of data, like text, numbers, and more, all based on what the user provides. But just like with variables, before you can use Scanner, you need to set it up in your program. In this lesson, we'll show you how to create a Scanner object, how to collect data from the user, and best practices for using it. So let's jump in and learn how to use Scanner to make your Java programs more interactive. In Java, the Scanner class is an essential tool for reading user input from various sources, such as the keyboard, files, or even strings. It is particularly useful when you need to interact with the user during program execution. For instance, you can prompt the user to enter a number, a line of text, or other forms of input, and Scanner will capture that input for your program to process. To use the Scanner class, you must first create an object of the Scanner type. Here's how you do it. Scanner. This is the class we are using to read input. Scan. This is the name of the Scanner object we create, and we will use this to refer to our scanner throughout the program. System.in. This tells the scanner to read input from the keyboard, standard input. If you were reading from a file, for example, you'd specify the file instead of system.in. The keyword new is required to create a scanner object because scanner is a class, not a primitive data type like int or double. After creating this object, you can use various methods to capture different types of user input. The scanner class is one of the simplest and most commonly used ways to handle input in Java, making it ideal for beginners and competitive programming challenges. Once you've created a scanner object, you can start reading input using its methods. These methods allow you to capture input of different types, such as integers, strings, and floating point numbers. Let's go over some of the most commonly used methods. Next, this method reads the next word, token, in the input as a string. A token is a group of characters separated by whitespace, such as spaces, tabs, or new lines. For example, if the user types hello world, the next pointed method would return hello on the first call and world on the second call. Next int. This method reads the next input as an int. It will look for the next number in the input and convert it to an integer. However, if the next input is not a valid integer, like if the user types a word instead of a number, the method will throw an input mismatch exception. This is why it's essential to ensure the input is formatted correctly. Next double. This method reads the next input as a double, a number with a decimal point. Like next int, it will throw an exception if the input is not a valid double. Next line. This method is used to read an entire line of input as a string. It captures everything typed until the user hits enter. This is particularly useful when you want to capture multi-word input or entire sentences. These methods give you the flexibility to handle different types of input in your Java programs. Whether you need to read numbers or strings, the Scanner class makes it easy to manage user interaction. While using scanner methods to read input, there can be instances where the input does not match the expected data type, causing exceptions such as input mismatch exception or no such element exception. These errors occur when the program attempts to read input that isn't in the expected format or when there's no more input to read. To avoid these common issues, Scanner provides hasNext methods that allow you to check if the next input matches the expected type before attempting to read it. These methods are extremely useful in preventing runtime errors in your program. hasNext returns true if there is another token to be read. This is a general method that checks whether there's more input available. hasNextInt returns true if the next token can be read as an int. It's useful for making sure the user has entered a valid integer before attempting to read it with nextInt. This helps avoid the input mismatch exception. hasNextDouble. Similar to hasNextInt, this method checks if the next token can be read as a double. It's particularly helpful when reading floating point numbers to avoid errors. hasNextLine returns true if there is another line to be read. This method ensures there is still input before attempting to read a full line with next line. Using these has-next methods allows you to add input validation to your programs. You can ensure that the user enters the correct type of input before attempting to process it, leading to a more robust and error-free program. Let's put everything we've learned into practice by looking at a full example that uses the scanner class to read various types of input. This example demonstrates how to handle integers, strings, and floating point numbers in a single program. In this example, we start by reading several integers, followed by a long integer, a string, and 4 floating point numbers, doubles. Finally, we use the next line method to read entire lines of input. This example showcases how versatile the scanner class is, allowing us to capture a wide range of inputs easily. The for loop is used to handle repetitive input, such as when we need to read multiple doubles in a row. By integrating various scanner methods into your programs, you can handle complex input scenarios efficiently.
Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like it and subscribe.